guys, thanks for tuning in. Paul Altieri here, Bob's Watches, and today we're excited to have Teddy Baldassare here.
Paul, pleasure.
From Ohio here.
From
Teddy,
Ohio,
if
yes.
you guys don't know, check him out on Teddy Baldassare. He's got a massive YouTube channel now, and thanks for coming out. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for the great intro
It's
as
hard to
well.
get people out from Cleveland to come out.
I'll come out here whenever you want. It's way better than what I'm used to. We got the snow right now, so.
Exactly. So Teddy, we want to talk to you a little bit about watches. You've done an incredible job building your channel. We know you had Kevin O'Leary on just recently.
We did, yes. Doing another one coming up soon.
Why don't you tell us about that a little bit?
So I'm going down to Miami with Kevin. We're going to do a cool like boutique tour and kind of do watch shopping with Kevin O'Leary. That's going to be the main positioning of the actual video. So excited for it. He liked doing it. I think it was a good release for him from traditional content.
How big is his collection? Is he a Rolex guy or?
He is traditional, a big Rolex, AP, Patek guy. But a lot of his conversation was around watches as an investment, so it makes a lot of sense that he would get into those watches.
Yeah.
But he transitioned and he actually just emailed me and said, hey, I want to add one more stop to our boutique tour, FP Journe. And he said that he bought multiple FP Journe watches in one night. So that gives you an idea of what...
Are you plugging FP Journe right now?
I am not plugging FP Journe, but FP Journe, if you want to give me some money, that's fine. I'll absolutely take some.
Yeah. Excellent. We get people that ask us a lot, how do you start a collection? How do you buy? I want to get your take on today. What is it like to buy a watch? Because the whole watch world is kind of turned upside down with the internet.
Yes.
Today, right now, what would you tell people looking to buy a Rolex today?
Well, I think
or a watch in general?
I think a really good starting point for just understanding where I'm coming from is the fact that I've never purchased a watch in person.
Really?
I think that goes to show like where the industry is at and how people are buying. In terms of the internet, what I find, and if I'm saying where to kind of start, is use the internet as an advantage, not let something kind of get you off path. Because what I mean by that is the fact that when you are going to buy a watch online or you start getting into watches, it's really easy to get caught up in the rabbit hole of buying things very quickly, not practicing patience and just getting trigger happy. Because you can just click add to bag and purchase right there.
Yeah.
What I would do instead is use the resource that is the internet to get the information first, rather than seeing it as an opportunity to just buy the first thing you see. So I think that is the battle. There's so much great information out there. You just have to know where to look for that information and know what specifically where to buy. I think places like Bob's Watches, of course.
We have worked really, really hard to build up our name, our relationship, the trustworthiness of the site and whatnot, but it's a competitive world right now. There's a lot of people that go online, but educate yourself, number one.
Yes.
Learn, fall in love, find out what you like. Do a little bit of research before you buy. Don't be impulsive.
And you're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes anyway.
But don't make big ones.
That's true. It's true.
Once you've done all your homework, and you don't have to agree with me, but I want to hear your comment.
Yeah.
Do all your homework, do all the learning, research, but when it comes down to pulling the trigger and pushing the button and buying, buy from a reputable resource.
Oh, absolutely, right? 100%. And the great thing about when you buy from a reputable source, you always have the ability, and especially when you're talking about Rolex, I always say you always have the ability to change your mind with Rolex because it retains its value, and if you buy it right, you're going to have the same value because you know it's authentic as well when you get it from a great source.
Yep. You're buying a Rolex.
Yes.
And the first thing that should be on your mind is it 100% authentic?
100%.
Because who cares what the price is? If it's not 100% authentic, it's not an apples to apples comparison. So even if you find it on eBay or somewhere else and it's less money, if it's not 100% authentic or it's not a real genuine Rolex, how can you do a comparison? You can't.
You can't.
Right?
Of course.
So how do you feel about eBay and Craigslist, buying on either one of those?
I think if we're talking new you have to be so savvy to know how to, Craigslist, no. Just straight up, no, don't go on Craigslist.
Well, it's not safe anyway.
It's not safe at all, no.
Yeah.
eBay, they do have buyer protection, but I mean, it's the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
It's the wild, wild west, and you have to know what you're looking for. You're better off, if you're in the early stages, have somebody else do that heavy lifting for you.
Exactly.
You know? So you can just go in and feel good, pay what you need to pay, and you get a great watch.
So tell us about the first watch or first Rolex you bought. You said
first Rolex.
You said you'd never bought one.
Yes.
in person. So
Yeah, I mean, that's
walk us through that a little bit.
so. My first Rolex was a Rolex Datejust 1601. It was a stainless steel, gray dial. Liked it a lot. Then I saw this two-tone, same 1601. It was it had a gold bezel and then a black dial, and I'm like, that looks great. I think it looked fantastic in the winter months in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm gonna do it. So I just did a swap. I got the 1601. Then I sold that one, and then I came along to this watch, which is an Explorer II. The Explorer II, it's always been an interesting watch. The one thing I like about the Explorer II, one, I love having a GMT. A GMT, it's fantastic complication.
Yep.
Having that isolated hour hand when I'm coming out here, 3 hours, pull it out, throw it back three hours,
Yep.
good to go. The other thing that I like about it is there's just something about a white dial on a Rolex is actually quite rare. Outside of the Daytonas, you don't see this very often. I think that's very cool. And I just like the under the radar aspect of it. The fact that you can wear a Rolex without letting everybody in the room know you're wearing a Rolex, and the people that know that you're wearing one can appreciate it. Those are the people I want to attract.
Exactly.
And then the other great thing is I think it's a great bargain when it comes to Steel Sports Rolex. And I love the 40mm case. I think it's fantastic. Great, works. And I'm small risk guy. Actually checks all the boxes. All the boxes.
Good. Also, walk us through a little bit any tips. So tell us about tips the typical buyer might have, or to keep in mind when they're buying their first or second or third, or building their collection. Little by little.
So where I kind of sit in with, I like all brands. So I expand a little bit beyond Rolex. I have a lot of some experience just buying just a ton of different watches, and I've made a lot of mistakes along the way.
We all have.
Yeah, we all have, and I think that's part of it. But if you can avoid them and still get the lessons that you need to get out of it, I think that's great. I think one thing that I kind of already hinted on was the fact that just moving too fast. If you buy so many watches so quickly, your tastes are going to evolve. If you do that, start moving so quickly into it, you get the bug going, you're going to end up evolving from it. You're going to have some watches that you don't like, and you feel like you're stuck with them. I think that's a great thing to avoid. Take your time, buy something, figure out how much you love it, and just kind of slowly get into it. That's the great thing about Rolex, though. You can always flip it back. It's going to retain value. So I think that's fantastic. Another thing that I think I made a mistake of was feeling like I needed to check off boxes. Yeah. You're thinking about building a collection. I think the answer to actually building a collection is not even think about building a collection. You're almost building out your life. You're building out your lifestyle. Yeah. For me, like wearing an Explorer II, this covers me in 80% of scenarios, which is great. There's going to be watches out there for a collection that one watch can do it for you. That is your collection. So I think a lot of people get caught up in thinking, oh, I need like a pilot or travel watch. I need, a sports, diver watch. I need a dress watch. I want to get a Datejust. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to complicate that. You have to really see it and keep it kind of in line with what you need rather than what you think you need. Yeah. And then the other thing I would say for maybe a third thing is a mistake that I see very often is buying into hype just for the sake of the hype rather than buying into what you think is cool. Because you will agree that there's some really cool, affordable, Rolex Air Kings that could be really maybe a better option for you than going for the Day Date or the GMT Master 2. Just being honest with yourself about that.
So one of the watches actually that I'm looking for now is a Datejust. My collection has grown incredibly over the years. And when a watch comes in, it's hard for me to sell it if I don't have one like it, like it. I have to have 4 of them maybe. But one of the items right now on my list is a Datejust. Now it happens to be an early Datejust from the 1940s.
Yeah, 45 when it came out. Yeah.
4467.
Yep, there we go.
It's all gold. I'm looking for one with a really spectacular dial because it's something for me, something for my collection. I think my advice would be, looking back, if you find something that you really like, don't be afraid to buy it. If it's something you really, really want, you've done your homework, you've done your research, but as long as it's a reputable seller, buy it. Don't be afraid.
I have a question for you in terms of talking about, because there's better examples of certain models. You have talked about purchasing multiple variants or multiple options for one watch. You're talking about the Datejust. I want to get 4 of them.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on saving up for a better example versus just getting the cheapest one? How do you kind of balance that? Because that's something I'm very conflicted about. I think now, go for the better example. I've heard some people say, go for the cheapest one first, and then once you depending on where you're at in life, Then you go back once you experience the first one, and then you can fully appreciate the better example.
Well, the smart thing to do is buy a winning lottery ticket.
Yeah, that's
then
true.
you can afford to buy whatever you want.
Yeah, there we go.
Kidding aside, it's always better to buy quality. Spend as much as you can. Get one watch and try to buy as good a quality watch as you can. Obviously, the more original the watch is, the better. But you'll always get the money out of an original, clean watch that hasn't been polished, even if you can find one. But that's my advice to people. And don't buy what I want, buy what you like.
That's right.
Buy what you want. People are always asking me, what should I buy? What do you like? It's not what I like. There's something for everybody. Just find something you like, fall in love, and buy from a reputable seller. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, if you want to see more cool guests like Teddy Baldassare, let us know. Email us, write us. But certainly subscribe, like us, follow us, because it helps us. It encourages us. And Teddy, thanks a lot for coming out.
Appreciate it, Paul. Always a pleasure.
Anytime. Let's have a little
Hey, let's do it.
It's been a good 10 years.
There we
It's been
go.
a wild ride for you as well.
Thank you.